What is Cedar Point up to? Could the park be adding one of their largest roller coasters ever in a few years? And the reason why I say that is because the park just made their next potential coaster plot of land a lot larger, with Cedar Point removing and not announcing the closure of their upcharge sky coaster attraction, Professor Delbert's Frontier Fling. I am now way more excited about this potential project, and you should be as well. Welcome to my channel, Theme Park Brandon. I'm really glad you're here, and all eyes are on Cedar Point for obvious reasons. Obviously, Top Thrill 2 in 2025. Will this coaster operate more than 6 days next year? Hopefully so. And also we have Siren's Curse, the all-new Voma tilt coaster opening up at the park, and it looks awesome. Rather short, horrible capacity, but this layout's going to be awesome, and you're going to fly through it, and you're going to get airtime inversions. I'm super excited for this ride. And even with the excitement from Siren's Curse and Top Thrill 2 in 2025, and when you pair those excitements for both of those rides together, honestly, I'm even more intrigued and excited about the future of this next project. So get ready to find out why that is, and what type of coaster, when it could open up, and a lot more. Starting things off, let's talk about the size of this location, because I honestly think it's going to shock you. And for reference, let's take a look at a few of the other larger scale coasters at Cedar Point, just so we can see just how big they really are. This is Gatekeeper, the park's B&M wing coaster, and it takes up 2.7 acres. Now, some might think it seems a little bit larger due to the ride's location and how the ride's layout weaves in and out of the front of Cedar Point, and then heading back to the back of the park for Gemini. And this racing aero coaster only takes up, believe it or not, 2.9 acres, which is rather shocking because I always assumed that Gemini was one of the larger coasters when it comes to land. Next up is Steel Vengeance, and while this coaster is one of the best in the park, and it seems like, again, just like Gemini, it takes up a lot more land than it actually does, the total land coverage for Steel Vengeance is only 4 acres, which leads me to the largest coaster in terms of the land that it occupies is Millennium Force, covering over 6.5 acres. Now, in regards to the new plot of land, as you can see, the former Snake River Falls attraction's right here, and then the Sky Coaster's right here. And this area, in case you don't know, on Millennium Island was the old Shoot the Rapids attraction that barely even operated. So when you pair all of these former attractions together, plus add in a little bit more room where this little maintenance area is right here, now you're talking. This is a huge plot of land. In fact, if a new coaster takes up this entire plot of land, we are looking at the second largest coaster in the history of Cedar Point potentially. That is because this area takes up over 6.2 acres. Again, that is a lot of room for pretty much any type of coaster that Cedar Point would want to add. And while this area could be used for a new flat ride area or a new kid area or something else entirely, I just feel like this area is destined for a new coaster to fit in with the whole Frontier area, the whole theme right there. I really think that a major coaster would be the best option for this plot of land for Cedar Point to help boost attendance going forward. Now, before I share with you exactly what coaster types and what year I think it could open up, with the holidays coming up, if you know anyone who loves roller coasters and theme parks, then be sure to check out keepridingcoasters.com for all of my coaster merch, like the shirt I'm wearing right now. It's affordable and yet very comfortable, and I appreciate all the support. Now, as far as what type of new coaster could be coming to Cedar Point, you know, it's very interesting now that Voma is in play at Cedar Point with Siren's Curse. And this new coaster, again, looks phenomenal. This move really has me leaning more towards maybe a new Voma could be opening up in this plot of land as Cedar Point's next coaster after Siren's Curse. And Voma is really on to something special right now because they are designing some of the best coasters out there. But the one model that I really feel like could do the best at Cedar Point would be a brand new Voma modern flying coaster. Now here's the thing, we've only seen one of these open up at Fantasialand, FLY. This coaster looks amazing. Everyone that has been on Fly has raved about how great it is, how comfortable it is. All the theming, the elements, the inversions, everything about this ride really is near perfect. And while we do not know exactly how much money Frontierland spent on FLY, adding a ride like this without all the theming could be very well within the new Six Flags budget for Cedar Point. Just imagine a record-breaking flying coaster that offers multiple launches, 4 to 5 different inversions, some decent theming, flying over the water onto Millennium Island. There are so many cool things, and not to mention cool themes, that would work so well for this type of coaster in this area of Cedar Point. I, for one, would love this, and honestly, I don't even like flying coasters that much, but the modern one from Voma just seems so great. It's hard to not want this at Cedar Point. Now the next coaster would have to be a brand new Mack Rides Extreme Spinner coaster. Now I have said in past videos that I can see the Extreme Spinner going to either Cedar Point or Kings Island. I definitely feel like one of these parks has a very solid chance of opening up this type of ride as their next major coaster. And if it's not Kings Island, then a Mack Extreme Spinner in this area of Cedar Point would do phenomenal. There is a reason why both Time Traveler and the Ride of Happiness have rave reviews. These rides really don't spin you all too much, but they offer great transitions, airtime, and such a unique experience that riders just crave, and you just want to get off the ride and get back in line and do it all over again. Now another thing that I really like about this style of ride is that since there's only 2 ever built and both offer smaller layouts really, Cedar Point could easily build the world's tallest, longest, and all the other jazz Mack Extreme Spinner in this plot of land and still be within budget for the park. I really feel like this could be the best fit for the park in my opinion, just due to the overall uniqueness of the ride as well as the ride experience and the placement of it. But there's still one other coaster out there that is taking the industry by storm that I feel like could very well be Cedar Point's next coaster and potentially their best coaster. This is Voltron, which is Mack Ride's brand new type of coaster called a striker coaster. And let me tell you, these rides can do pretty much anything a park wants them to do. We're talking multiple launches, reverse launches, spikes, scorpion tails inversions, airtime, stalls, turntables, heavily themed sections of the layout, and so much more. Ever since Europa Park opened up Voltron, it has instantly become one of the best coasters in the entire world. That is how good this ride really is. And just imagine a ride along the similar size, if not a little bit larger, in this plot of land. I really think that Cedar Point could benefit from a ride like this due to the theming aspect, all the unique elements that this ride could do, as well as offering yet another coaster that offers a vertical launch and so much more. And out of the Voma Flying Coaster, the Mack Rides Extreme Spinner, and then the Mack Rides Striker Coaster, if done right, either of these coasters could very well become the best coaster overall at Cedar Point, if not definitely within the top 3. But the big question is, when exactly could this new coaster open up in this plot of land? Because Top Thrill 2 opened up in 2024, and don't forget the park's Wild Mouse opened up the year before then. But then in 2025, we have Siren's Curse. So could it be 2026? I mean, after all, they're already starting taking down the Sky Coaster. I mean, I really would love it, but it does not make any sense as a business standpoint for Cedar Point to open up new coasters in 23, 24, 25, and then 2026. However, with that being said, I feel like 2027 could be a very strong year for Cedar Point, and that is why I think that this new coaster could open up in 2027 at the earliest. I think there's a 99.9% chance that Kings Island gets their next major coaster in 2026, and I do not see Cedar Point and Kings Island both opening up new major coasters within the same year. That is why I have Kings Island slated to open up their next coaster in 2026 and Cedar Point in 2027. Now, if you're visiting Cedar Point, then you have to check out these top 10 things that you must experience when you visit this awesome park in Northern Ohio. And you can find a link to that video at the bottom of your screen right here. With that being said, what are your thoughts on Cedar Point's next coaster? When will it open up? What type of coaster? And where will it be located within the park? You know what to do. Let me know in the comments. This is Theme Park Brandon. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to smile today, think positive, and of course, keep riding coasters.